So we'll just give a few minutes to some of the guests to stream in, and then we can start. We're also streaming on Facebook, so feel free to share that link with the rest of the people. Great. I think we can start, and then the rest will join us as we move on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this evening's event, which is a Q&A with the filmmakers of The Whistleblower. I'm joined by the director himself, Kenji Gadesha, one of the actors, Joe Kenywa, and one of the stunt coordinators, Luanda Jawal, and the producer, B. Wangondo. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this session.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, let's start off with Kenji. Your name is Kenji, not Kanji, right?
Yeah, Kenji.
Yeah, just tell us how this project came about.
Sure. So I was in between jobs, and at the moment, and I'd always written, but I'd never had anything I'd written be produced. So the first thing that I ever thought about writing was action, because I grew up watching action from Walker, Texas Ranger. If I'm not aging myself too much, there was a show called that. And yeah, so I watched that and other action films in that time. So that's what gave me that sort of idea. So I wrote it without it having any direction of where it was going to go. I just wrote a script. And then I got a link for Maisha Film Labs. They were having a workshop, and at the end of that workshop, they'd have 12 participants. And at the end, if you won, you won a grant for $5,000 to shoot a short. And so that's how I ended up shooting. I ended up with the grant to shoot a Whistleblower. So I won the grant, and the first thing I had to do was find a producer. And once I found B, then we got rolling together.
Awesome, awesome. We're also joined by the other lead actor with Charity Nyambura. Karibu. Yeah, B, before we jump to the rest of the process, how was it working with Kenji? And how did you guys actually meet up?
So I get this call from Kenji. I've never met Kenji before in my entire life, and he's just said to do. He had this film that he wanted done, and I was very. At the time, I really just wanted to do something. I wanted to go back into independent filmmaking, because at that point I had just been off of it and lots of freelance work. So at this point, and then his story was very interesting. So I thought, this might be just it, And then he was kind, he was calm. He didn't look like the story he'd written. I got very curious about the kind of person who writes like this, and then looks like this, And then I realized he'd done so much work with the film. Like he thought it through. It seemed like he had thought it through for so long, It felt like at that point I was complimenting his work as opposed to like picking it up and just getting on it. And that got me very, very impressed. So I jumped on board, and I think we spoke in 1 hour, and then the next we were already like, yeah, let's shoot and let's get this going.
Yeah. One of the things, I think most people maybe, as Luanda put it, is a lot of writers don't, put in a lot of actions or action scenes. Kenji, were you afraid that this would not be possible to pull off?
No, actually, I'm asked that question all the time, and I think, why didn't I think that this was possible? I don't know. I think it's just faith. Because if I hadn't met B and then in turn met Luanda, I don't think this film would have been made. But I don't know, for some strange reason, I just had the thought that, oh, I guess also because the producers from the film lab also believed that it was possible. And I thought, okay, maybe if I'm not crazy and they actually gave me this money, if someone tells you, okay, give me 500,000 to shoot a film, an action film, yeah. So I guess that was what was driving me. But definitely, if I didn't have the team that I put in place, I would not have been able to make it happen.
So you chose Joe and Charity. How did you meet them up? How did you, guys, or how did you settle on the two?
So I'll speak about Joe first. So Joe, I had already worked with him. I had started sort of directing Sunajoni, and I'd seen him work, and I was like, he had the qualities that I liked in an actor, which was like discipline and talent. And so that was the first thing I thought was cool about him. And I didn't know what the project was. I didn't know it was an action film. I didn't think of him as an action hero, but I always thought of, if I do make a film, I want Joe to be in it, whatever it is. So if it was even female driven, I think I would have put him in a dress, makeup. So yeah, and so I approached him with the idea, and he'll tell you about that conversation because it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Charity, for some reason, when I wrote this role, all I could see was Charity. I could only see her, and I don't know. I've only seen her before in a couple of plays, and I think I've seen her in a couple of things, but I'd never like really worked with her or anything. But we were friends, and I think we worked together on set. She was a script coordinator on a show for some time, and I think I told her in passing. I don't know if she remembers. I told her, oh, by the way, there's this thing I want you to do, and she was like, okay. Then when I called her, I was like, yo, I have this role for you. I'll send you the script, and I sent it to her, and I don't know if she remembers this. And she told me, and she called me back. She's like, okay. Why did you think of me for this role? Yeah, and I don't know. I just wrote it with her in mind. I guess that's the short answer for that story. But they can give their own sides of the story, I guess.
Yeah, let's start with the ladies. Charity, what was your, initial thoughts when you saw the script?
So this is a while ago. Let me just say, this is not yesterday. This happened a while ago, and my memory is not the best. But I'm gonna give as much detail as I can. So honestly, what Kenji has said is what I remember, because he actually told me he wrote this with me in mind, and I was like, well, hold up. As he said, we'd never really like worked together in terms of me as an actor. We'd worked together in film. But then it's exactly what he said. I couldn't for the life of me figure out why he chose me for the particular role. It was an interesting role. I thought the film was interesting because it was one of the first action things that I've ever worked in. But then I remember in my mind, I was like, action. The only action thing that we'd seen so far on Kenyan TV was Cobra Squad. So I was really scared. I was like, yo, how is this gonna happen? So, I mean, it was interesting. It was an interesting call, and for sure, there was no I was gonna turn that down. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Joe?
I remember getting that call from Kenji telling me that he wants me to be part of his short film. And so the very first thing that was interesting was him telling me that it's an action short film, definitely that got me excited. And then when we met for the first time, because we met a couple of times before shooting it. So when we met for the first time after I'd read the script, the other thing that got me interested was the fact that it was talking about, corruption and whistleblower here. So yes, those two things, it being an action film and the film actually talking about an issue that we face every day, that's what got me interested to Nini. There's no way I could turn it down as well.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
For those joining us, so under the Q&A tab, you can put in your questions for the ladies and gentlemen who are here with us, and then they'll each answer. You can send your questions directly to individually to any of them, or and anyone can answer. I think one of the toughest thing on this film was the stunts, and Luanda, I mean, people know you or have seen you like on on Sense8 and stuff like that. What was your role coming into this film? Yeah, just explain mostly your role and how you helped make this a possibility.
Thank you. For me, my title in the whole film, I'm a stunt coordinator. A stunt coordinator is it's a position where you make sure all the safety measures are taken, especially if you're doing an action film where you have things like fight choreographies, you have catches and stuff like that. So my role is just to make sure everything goes as it's planned, and safety number one, and then how to make a fight choreography look believable in film. That is the role of a stunt coordinator and a stuntman. So that was mainly my role in the Whistleblower.
How long did you have to work with the talent before they went on set? And how quickly did they adapt?
We rehearsed for, I think it was about a week and a half, almost a week and a half. And for me, for the first time, I thought we were actually going to have a longer rehearsal period. But the guys I was working with, they surprised me, because if I was asked before we started the whole rehearsals and everything, I would have given it probably around 3 weeks or 4 weeks max, depending on what was on the script. But the team I had was really quick in grasping. They were interested in the whole stance and the whole action. So it was an amazing 1.5 weeks, but it was quite some work.
Awesome. Talking about the story, or the entertainment value in any type of film or any in a film, Kenji, did you feel like having some action scenes is what is actually lacking in some of our local films?
Yeah, I think filmmaking for a long time in Kenya has been based on educating, and that's because a lot of the people who are funding films are people who are interested in educating and passing a message. And I just thought about it in terms of put the medicine in the candy. So you do pass a message, you do educate, but you do it in an entertaining way, like they do in all other industries. So for me, the action is what is wrapped around. That's the candy, but inside there's this thing that I'm trying to speak about, which is about corruption and how it affects society. And yeah, that was what I was trying to achieve.
You obviously have even bigger plans, of course, for this short. Were you planning to make a feature or go a different direction?
We had discussions with B about it. We've had numerous discussions, and it's about what serves the story more. Because at first we thought of a feature, but then we've changed more to think about it as a TV show. And B is actually the spearhead of that idea, because she took it in a direction. Maybe she can speak on it, on where we can take the series which I thought was really interesting. And so that's the plan. To move forward, the story would be better told as a series, I feel. Yeah.
B,
Yeah. So Kenji is perfectly right on that one. We knew that this could be the bold or and the beautiful of Kenya, but from what it is, from what the short film is, an action film that's about very deep conversations that we are always having in Kenya, and that affect us directly. So this was something that we felt like if we shot a feature film, what happens to the rest of the stories? And we know this is something that Kenyans are going to love. We're already seeing very, very good response coming off of those who watched the film. Even from when we screened the films in the theater, we knew then there was no going back. We had to create a series out of this. There's just too many things happening on a daily basis in Kenya to ignore. So there's no way we were just not going to create a series.
I mean, so as a producer, one of the things that you have to think about is, like the facilitation of weapons and such issues. Did you have any difficulty? Were you using actually real weapons? And how did you do that process for, other filmmakers who are also joining us today?
Good question. So yes, we used real weapons. We had to because again, we have a very smart audience in Kenya. You're not going to try and fool with them. They know what's wrong when it is wrong. They know what's right when it is right. That's number one. Number two, it wasn't difficult to get weapons on set in the sense that with my previous experience freelancing, I knew who to work with for what, because I've always worked in production department. And because of that, then, and I knew Rwanda would help the process of handling it right. And we had a minder on set. So it wasn't that difficult, but yeah, you're always on edge when you have weapons on set. You're always looking out. We didn't have a big budget as to think about, should something happen, what happens with insurance? That for me was what kept me like, okay, everybody be on point here,
Yeah.
We do not have the space to go outside of what we have been given with the budget. Yeah, so that was, but specifically what I was keen about.
Yeah, and Joe, are you, have you had previous experiences handling or acting with weapons or doing any stunts?
With weapons, I had never worked with a real weapon before. This during the shooting of this film, that was the first time. Stunts, I'd never done stunts before, so it was actually exciting having to rehearse with like in Luanda for that 1.5 weeks. Of course, it was tiring, but it was very exciting. I think I got to learn a few moves here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luanda, what do you think of their progress? Or Joe personally, how can you say his, pick up and techniques and learning?
Well, for me, to be honest, to be 100% honest, I didn't think Joe would. I did doubt his acting. I mean, he's a marvelous actor, but when it comes to the action, I was like, okay. But a week into rehearsals and everything, me, I was comfortable, and he did me proud. By the way, for me, I always say a good actor, apart from just being an actor, should always try and learn a different skill, because you find you're in so many movies, and you never know this time what kind of script you're going to handle, what kind of action the director wants or needs. So a good actor, if you just train yourself, different kind of skills, doesn't have to be the crazy ones. Like for me, an actor should know how to swim. They should at least know how to drive a car. Because if you're given a scene, you're supposed to be driving and saying your lines, we don't need to find a stunt double for that. We don't need to put the car on a trolley and pull it. So for me, Joe, and the kind of stunts we did, you really made me proud.
Shukran.
Awesome. Awesome. Which was one of the hardest scenes to work out? Any of you, Kanji, Joe, Charity can take over, or Londa.
Okay. I think Joe, before I since Joe, it was his first time, just probably you are the best person to take it first. What was the most trickiest?
For me, the entire action sequence, it was a tough one. It was a tough one, and it's, I think, the bulk of the film. So yeah, for me, the entire action sequence, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, because it entailed a lot of movement, a lot of you had to grasp in so much. The room is small. You have to remember these moves. There are so many technical fights. You don't remember to duck in one of the moves. You get injured or it becomes an accident. And then to make it now even more sensitive is the fact that we actually, by the time we were shooting, we introduced a real weapon. We were using a real dagger. So everything had to be on point. Everything had to be on check. But the fight choreographies, those for me, those are usually the trickiest because there are so many small details like that. If you don't do correctly, the audience will definitely notice the fight scenes. For me, it is actually the fight scenes.
Yeah. For me, it's just what Luanda mentioned. There's a scene where Joe is he's just come out of the kitchen and he's back in the main part of the restaurant, and he's confronted by the last bad guy. And so at first when we started, we were not supposed to use a real dagger. The real dagger was just supposed to do the master shot. It was just supposed to be seen on camera that the guy is holding a real knife, and then we change it and start using our prop knife. But the prop knife it just kept on going limp, like it was just I don't know what it just didn't, it wasn't cooperating, as most things on film sets don't do. So we made the call to use a real knife, and yeah, that was, for me, I can remember being very, after every take, you're just like you're watching your monitor to make sure that you're getting everything, but at the same time you're like, I just hope everyone is okay, because these guys are actually doing it. Like when you see that scene, it's not camera tricks. Like these guys are actually fighting, and it's a dance. And so when someone misses one move or another, it can be very dangerous. So yeah, that was my.
Are you saying nothing went wrong?
Yeah, well, yeah.
From laughs, I can tell there was something.
Well, okay, yeah, there was something that went wrong between Joe and one of the. But this was the great thing, was it was that scene, but the knife had not been introduced at that part, and so what happened was, okay, I think Joe is the best person to explain, but basically it was he had a misstep. When sometimes when you're dancing, you miss one of the moves. And that's what happened. Yeah, you step on a toe. Yeah. So Joe can explain.
So yeah, I think it was just, yes, one of those mishaps. My scene partner didn't move as fast as they should have, and so I had thrown a punch. So because he didn't move as fast as he was required to, it landed on him. But I think that was the biggest mishap we would say occurred on that set. Yeah.
Nice. Charity, how was it working with Joe?
So Joe and I think, did we meet on Sunajoni? I think that's where or before, I'm not sure, but we had worked together before on a different TV series, me as crew and him as cast. But we sort of knew each other. I can't remember the first time I met Joe, but we had a rapport. So it it was easy working with Joe because we already knew each other. There was chemistry already, so it wasn't too difficult. It's not like we met on set for the first time or during the read through. So it was easy. It was easier.
Yeah.
I didn't have any fight choreography scenes. I really wished I did. Like, guys, moving forward, can we, the empower the woman, give me fight scenes? Like, right? Thanks. But yeah, it was really cool to watch everything that was happening. I think the most I handled was the dagger. I don't even think I held I'm not sure if I held a real one or the prop one. But yeah, it was fun to watch. Yeah.
Cool. Monene Duncan says, congrats to the team. You did well. He was part of your project, yeah?
Yeah. Monene allowed us to use his restaurant on Gong Road, and it was just perfect for the film. We walked in there with Kenji, and he felt like this is a place he had seen, then went and wrote the film.
Wow.
So we are very grateful to Duncan Monene. He'll always be
Thank you,
very
Duncan. Yeah.
And it's always hard to get, people to allow film crews on set.
Yes, and we were shooting on we had such long working hours. So to imagine that he was okay with us. In fact, at the end, he was part of us. It was like crew, who wants water? Who wants, how can I help? He was just like a really good guy on set. We loved him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you want, where do you want this film to, or where do you want it to go?
Well, we definitely want Kenyans to see the film. So it's a balance between, it's just literally figuring out, do we have it locally, local channels, or do we go international? There are too many opportunities now. They all want to have our stuff. So we are here going like, let's see what's the best deal, and let's go for it. That's where we are at.
Nice. Obviously, the film as well is available now on Amazon Prime as well for people who are not in Kenya, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
I just say that is super awesome. We've had good feedback coming from the UK, friends and family, and I think this is why I always say that this kind of work needs to be done. We need to shoot our short films, because you do not know how far what you think is small could go. And this is what you're experiencing with the Whistleblower.
A lot of people don't understand, what the short film can do for you, like in terms of professional development. Kenji, what's your, overall goal?
Okay, you raised an interesting point about what short films can do for you. Yeah, people sometimes they need to put a scope onto something. They need to see it. So if I had told this idea to someone and I was like pitching it to them, I was like, oh, I want to shoot this action film and it's going to become a series, but first it's going to be like a short and you're going to see this guy and he's fighting corruption. It wouldn't be, it's the idea, but the brilliance of short films is exactly that. It's you're given a short time to present an idea, and you can present your vision as an actor, as a director, as a stunt coordinator, so that when you show people, you're like, this is what it sort of can be a proof of concept, but on its own, it should also stand as its own type of piece of art. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously all of you believe Kenyan content or African content can travel and can do well, right?
Absolutely. Can I go first?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We are at a time when everybody internationally is looking for what is coming out of the continent. So it is our responsibility to make sure that we are making films. We are telling stories from our experience, from our perspective, and not because, now there's a huge thing about, what is, how does, what is the face of colonialism? Who are we before we were colonized? I know there's a whole lot of that, but we still, despite that, we still need to tell our stories from our perspective. It's our responsibility. The world still doesn't know who we are because we hardly show them. There is very little coming off of Kenya, for example, on Netflix. But we are watching all these Korean films, you know, German and South African. I know Nigerian culture just because I watch all these films. They don't know what we are. So I want to be able to be, I want us to make films that represent who we are without, totally authentically, you know. That's my feeling from the get.
Okay, cool. There's someone asking Kenji or to the producer, what would have been the the ideal budget for the film like this one? Or I think asking what was the budget for the film, yeah. And this is from
I mean,
Wow.
oh gosh. Wow. Jeez.
How much would Luanda charge us? That's where we start, because Luanda is the one to tell us
Thanks,
what the
Kenji.
budget will be.
So how are you able to, you know, like with the minimal resources that you guys had, how were you able to pull it off?
A great question. I think, again, being Kenyan and really being African, one of the things that we did as a team is the value we brought from collaboration. So I was meeting Abdishura for the first time, but his whole attitude was about getting this film done in the shortest time possible, in the best possible way, and his support for himself and for Kenji. And then there was Rwanda, who's totally committed to his craft. And then, of course, there's Joe and Charity. I always say they're the most transformative I've met. This collaboration and the energy, and that just also includes special effects and sound. Everybody was in with the film. And that made everything just coming together, and with very little things going wrong. Like the things that went wrong are things we couldn't help. Somebody got punched. That happened, you know, or Joe has scratches on his stomach the next morning after shoot because of the action. Those are small things, but everybody brought in their everything to the film. And that's why, like, we are very excited to meet like this. It's just, we just connected. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just echo what B has said. I think that's the element of filmmaking that is the strongest. The way you bring people together to create art, and yeah, the reason why this was possible. I know we're not answering your question for budget, but Elizabeth,
I mean, you said earlier you got a 5,000.
yeah, the grant was $5,000. Which, by the way, ran out, but that's a story for another day. But what was I saying? Oh, right. So collaboration is how you are able to take these big ideas that maybe would not be possible if you didn't have the right amount of money, and convert them into reality. So everyone of here was not working at their normal rate. Everyone was sacrificing so that we could get this thing done, you know. Like the first day I went to Luanda's where he was training the stunt guys and Joe, I was like so blown away. He had his own setup. He had created we had gone scouting and he had seen the location, and he went and created it in his backyard with closets and stuff, and you know, like going that extra mile. And speaking of Duncan, let Duncan let us do things no other restaurant in Nairobi would have let us do. Like just having people on board and being like, we get your vision, we have bought into it, and of course the actors, we put them through a lot. It was long nights, you know. Charity would be there, and she just has one line at the end, but she was dedicated and stayed through. Like everyone just came together and like brought, and that's the only way to achieve stuff like this. Because if we were to talk about the budget needed to make a film like this, it would be a crazy amount. But I think it's more about getting people to buy into the idea and your vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
yeah, go on.
add on to what Kenji has said about budget. Normally when people get scripts which is a wrong way to do it. It is not bad to get paid, but for me, I think what really worked for us was the fact that we wanted to be part of the journey. We wanted to be part of this journey. And for me, when I'm venturing into a new journey, I'm usually more of the kind of platform it is. What will come of this? It is not, for me, it's usually not how much are you going to pay me first, how much? I'm like, okay, this is exciting. This is something I love to do. What is it we are doing? What's the mileage? What can come from this? And for me, that's enough motivation to do a job. It's not always about the cash.
Yeah, of course, in the end, we all want the money. That's why we need to find ways of, getting paid for what we do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. In terms of the audience engagement with the film, what are you guys hoping for, and how wide do you want this film to be seen?
Well, can I go first? I'd love to, like I said, I'd love for as many people as possible to see this film. Again, because a lot of people don't know what we are like. They don't know that it's like how people think Africans are not romantic, or we live with giraffes in our houses or our backyards, or, an action film can come out of Kenya. Yes, it can. This is our responsibility. And my whole thing is, let's tell our stories in the way we know how. I want as many people to see this film. And also as we grow our skills, because this is what also COVID has done for us. We've had the chance to upgrade ourselves skills-wise, because the world is very competitive in terms of film.
Yeah, for me, I feel like I would love, as especially what B has said, as many people as possible, but I also want film students to see it. I want people who are just getting into film to get a chance to view this film, because not because of any other reason than I want them to see the possibilities and also what they can improve. They can watch that and decide, there's someone who actually did the stunts and for this, and I can actually do that. That's a real job,
Yeah.
I don't know how many of us, when we were growing up, it was a real job until much later in life. Like, we always thought that these are things that people in other places do. But I'd love to get it to be seen by as many film students as possible all around the country, just to show people that, this is something we did, and this is something you can do, and you can take it further, you can grow, you can always come up with your own ideas. You can do a sci-fi or a horror, because everything on TV right now is skewed to one particular audience, but at least with different ideas you can get to see different perspectives.
Yeah. But I've also seen a lot of filmmakers as well following the film. But I hope they've supported you by watching the film. Someone asked how can they watch the film. So the film is available on Vumicentral, so watch.vumicentral.com. That's where you'll find the film. Charity. How excited were you, to jump on this project as well, at the beginning? And how far, what are people saying, in terms of your performance?
Oh, wow. Okay. Question number one. I was excited to jump onto this, especially because of, I think for me, the title itself, Whistleblower. And so for me, it took me back to the Golden Bag scandal. I think a lot of Kenyans could identify with that. So that's the first time that I heard that term whistleblower. And so now here's a film with the title Whistleblower. So for me, that was like, this is great. This is our story being told our way. So that was definitely exciting for me to jump on board. And number two, what is the second question? Sorry.
Yeah, how what's the reaction from the audience or people who've watched the film?
Oh, the people that I know have watched it have really liked it. They also can identify with it. I think because again, it's not a story, it's not a Nigerian story, it's not a South African story, it's our story, and it's something that they can definitely identify with. They really liked the action sequences. They thought they were believable. Not stuff that is out there, but stuff that can actually happen. So those are the two things that I've heard so far.
Cool. I think there's someone asking, B, are there more projects on the pipeline?
As far as the Whistleblower goes, yes, the series. But yes, there are several other projects on in development, and I'm definitely going to work with this team.
Awesome.
We can't talk about them beyond that at this point.
Yeah. Luanda, what are you, working on currently or planning to?
Right now, I'm doing a lot of physical exercise just to not to be found flat-foot. We are planning to shoot an action film. Actually, there's an action film that will be coming soon. Again, I can't talk about it, but and the main thing for me is just giving myself more challenges, I'm watching a lot of action films that I would like to actually try and do a replica in terms of fight sequences. So it's just sharpening my skills more, making my team ready, because I'm sure once COVID is done, once people get back on their feet, everybody will be sprinting. So it's just about being ready for whatever comes ahead.
Awesome.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Cool. Joe, what are you up to, and what's your next project?
Of course, at the moment, definitely waiting for Whistleblower, the series, hoping everything falls into place and soon. But also in the meantime, there's a show I'm doing in Joro Uba, not airing at the moment in terms of new episodes because it's on a production break, but we are shooting the new episodes. So hopefully from next week, the new episode starts to air.
Cool. Kenji, Charity?
So I do many things in the artistic industry. So currently, I just finished, I wrapped a series called Hula Baloo. We were shooting, I think 4 seasons back to back. We had to break because of when Rona came out. But then now we finished, I think mid-July. So right now, I think I'm with Londa. Also, I was doing script continuity for that. So I do that. I sing. I'm an actor. I think those are the 3 main things that I do. So in terms of the rest of the things, I think downtime really as an artist should be time that you pick up new hobbies or work on the stuff that you need to work on. So if it's, for example, for me, I sing, I'm trying to sing and grow my voice or not get rusty. So when you get back to work, it's not, oh my gosh, what have you been doing with your time? If it's acting, watching things or getting into master classes, whatever it is that you can do to hone your skills, that when the time comes, when work is there, then you're ready. It doesn't find you not ready. So right now, definitely there's sort of a downtime, but we're hoping, Whistleblower guys, we're coming back, right? We're coming back? Yeah, great. Soon.
And I assume, Kenji, you're already writing or working on the, writing the TV series.
Yes, that's definitely on the cards. That's one of the things I'm working on. Breaking the story and trying to figure out whatever platform we choose to go with, how we can translate that story. We have all the types, depending on where we can reach in terms of budget. And then apart from that, I have 2 short films. One is self-finance, another one is finance from outside. One is a horror, the other one is a romantic film, just to show you that genre is. I'm not an action director. I direct anything. Yeah, so those are the things I'm working on. Apart from that, a lot of rest and a lot of, as Charity said, as in this time, you should really come and get to discover who you are, and I'm doing that a lot, and it's been awesome.
Awesome. It also the film also won some awards at Kalasha last year. Maybe just explain what awards the film won.
Yeah, so we were nominated for 11 categories. We got to win best short film, best editing, and best cinematography. And we are very happy with that. Can I just say, we are very happy with that. I don't know about these people.
For someone looking for like you, Luanda, where can they find you? What are your social media handles, or how do they get in touch with you? You mentioned you have a company that does stunts.
Yes. Right now, I'm in the journey of developing a stunts company. My main idea is, and which I'll start really soon. Once it's ready, I'll definitely put it out there. The social media guys they will know what's happening. But my main thing is, I just want to come up with a program where I could get in actors and teach them how to do a few extra things when it comes to their talent, so that when you're faced with such a wonderful script, you don't find yourself panicking. Because as much as it's action, yes, and we know actors, they don't want to get hurt and stuff like that. I want to be in a space where when I come in or I bring stuntmen, it is extreme stunts, but just fight scenes, normal stuff. I really want to now to train actors to able to handle different kind of situations in terms of acting. So that once I'm set and I'm ready, I'll put it out there, and people can start coming in. People can sign up, and apart from that, you can find me on Twitter at El Jawar. I'm on IG at Luanda Jawar, and for me, good is not good if better can be achieved. So it's all the way, man.
Yeah, cool. I think it's easier if you guys can put in your handles on the chat there, so that anyone can pick up your contacts and get in touch if they need to. Yeah. So I don't know if there's any other question from the audience. If there is, please
Willie, I see there's a question here.
Yeah.
That says, Kenji, if you are given another chance to reshoot the film, what would you change about the film? By Debila. Wow. Abugri. Okay. I was thinking about that question when I read it, and I thought maybe what I would change was I would actually give Charity's character an action scene. I think that's what I would have done. The more I think about it now, I'm just like, why didn't she just become like this badass and also fight? That would have been awesome. Yeah, that's how I would have changed it. Yeah.
Awesome. Christine Savane says, proud of you, well done. Yeah. Anyone, any other burning question? Yeah, we're coming close to the hour. Or any, last words from as we wait for the last questions. You guys can give in your last question, starting from Joe. You're on mute, Joe.
Sorry about that. Yes, I think mine would just be a comment to say that I'm glad that now we're getting more of our work out there. We have several platforms. I've been seeing quite a number of short films showing on different platforms. So I'm glad that number one, we're getting our stuff out there. And number two, hoping that then these platforms would become a good revenue stream for filmmakers, because I think at the moment we still don't have, when someone puts in their money to produce, whether it's a series, a film, you're not guaranteeing of getting your money back. You know, you're not guaranteed of the returns. You still don't have that one sure way, because I don't think we have that big theater going culture here in Kenya. But I'm hoping that now all these platforms, you know, at some point, it's going to get to that point where, as a filmmaker, you know that when you put in your work, your hard work, and your money to produce something, then at some point you will get your returns back. So yeah, man.
Cool. Next, anyone can go.
Okay. For me, first of all, I would like to say thank you so much to the team that made this possible. Thank you, Kenji, for actually doing what script writers are not doing. You actually went to the place where everybody fears going. For me, that is the way to go. Thank you, B. The entire team. For me, I'm like, this is it. Now we've started doing action. So let's do it. By the time Uganda, Rwanda, those guys are discovering what's going on, we are flying already. We are taking off. So, and to the actors out there, always challenge yourselves. Challenge yourselves. When you get hurt, that is your badge of honor. That's how I look at it. That is your badge of honor. You take it, you remember, and you do better from your experience.
Awesome.
I'll say it was definitely a privilege working with everybody. So for those who don't know, this was shot in 3 days. It was of intense work. Joe got hurt at some point. He was so tired because the first day you come and you do your action sequences, you go home, you're exhausted, you have to and continue. So it was 3 days of nonstop work. I got sick. Like, there was a lot of things that happened on that set that were insane. And the fact that we had not, like, the team that was put together had not really worked on anything together before. So normally what happens, I think, in film or even in other professions, you work with the people you know. But then this team sort of came together for the first time. And so the fact that we brought out something so spectacular, that I think we're all proud to have our names associated with it. It speaks to the kind of work that everybody did. I think we all put our best foot forward. And that's why we have what we have. So guys, please watch it and then let us know your comments, your feedback. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'll go next so that B can finish it up for us. For me, it's just to say I'm very thoroughly thankful of these people here. Every single one of them, they bought into a crazy dream I had, and they made it a reality. Second is just to say, for the people who are watching this and thinking that we are some special people, we are not. We're just human beings who just had a passion about filmmaking and making something. So it's easy. You can just figure it out. There's YouTube right now. You can go you can go and actually learn how to do the things that we are talking about in this film. Thirdly is just to say that, as Joe said, in this time I've really been thinking about the business aspect of our filmmaking and figuring out how we can make not only just a living, but also make it an industry that can support a lot of people and create jobs and life for people. And I think there will have to be a lot of us putting out work. If each one of us here is their own filmmaker, which in their own right, which I feel they are, like Charity can do her own thing. She can sing and create her own film. B can create her own film. Luanda can shoot his action and create his own film, and Joe can do his own thing. Is with businesses that are growing at rapid rates. You think of an Uber, you think of an Airbnb. These are companies that are not immediately profitable, but they are in it for the long game. And for us as filmmakers, we need to be in it for the long game. That's the way we will make this thing actually work. We have to be in it for the long game. So don't look for the short-term rewards. Think about the long term, because That is how we grow an industry. So we just need to produce stuff, and for people, Kenyans will actually come on board as soon as they see that there's a lot of stuff, quality stuff that's being produced, and they'll be in for it. Yeah. So those are my parting words. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, cool.
That's nice. That's nice. I think, Kenji, as much as you say that we're just normal people, I think it's extraordinary to find somebody who writes something that's unique and new. And that's what you did for the whole team. So I know we don't say this much. In fact, we make you work even harder and pull a lot more from you, but just want to say thank you on their behalf. But also want to say thank you to Kamau, who was our AD, Edwin Kamau. There was Abdi Shuria, who should have been here, but was on Reiki and couldn't make it over. Our cinematographer, we are so proud of him and his whole team. He brought a whole unit, and that's another story for another day, which is awesome. And then there's our special effects and makeup artist, Florence Mothoni. You know, oh my gosh, we had a great team, and for that, I'm very, very grateful. As far as African film and our film goes, I think, like I know I keep saying this a lot, but until we do stories, until we make our own films, can we rest? I know I can't rest until I'm able to tell my own stories and collaborate with people who are from where I come from, to be able to tell stories that we resonate with. Beyond that, thank you so much. We are so excited about having this film on Vumicentral. Kiyomi, thank you. Kiyomi is our distributor, everybody over there in Purple. We are so happy to collaborate with him. It's like the best, the easiest distribution relationship I have made in the last 1.5 years. In the last 1 year, I did a whole lot of travel meeting distributors, but when I knew Kiyomi was building this, I knew to drop everybody and work with him because I knew he would treat me like a sister. He understands where I'm coming from. He understands our stories. I can ask him anything. So it's just been a wonderful relationship. And for anybody out there looking for a distributor, that is the way to go. Hook yourself up. Thank you. This has been fun.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for the kind words. Yeah, I think, the industry starts small and we grow with it. But for, eventually, most important is making sure that the audience, get to see the film, because that's what grows the industry. Yeah, so we are working hard to make sure that the audience, like forums like this, to engage with the audience, get their feedback. I hope the next time we're doing this kind of thing, we'll get people coming to ask all those questions. And I saw a lot of people as well on Facebook. Unfortunately, we were not able to mention everyone who was on Facebook. Yeah, there's like Njoki Kimani's congratulations. Other people as well who are watching on Facebook as well. Yeah, but then thank you for making the time. I hope my internet is stable enough. Yeah, but on to better things, and we hope to see amazing stuff coming our way. So this is, I would say this is just the beginning. Yeah, all the best.
Thank you very much. This was so good. And to our viewers, thank you.
Cool. Yeah, I just hope lots of more Kenyans and Africans see more of this, because that's how we are able to fund the next projects and the next projects. Yeah. All right. Kenji, you want?
No, I just wanted to say thank you as well to everyone. And it was good to see you all.
Same here, man.
Yes, Kabisa.
Same here.
Thank you.
All right, good. Thanks for everyone who joined us today. Amazing. Yeah. Have a good one.